Welcome to Canada's podcast.
Hi, I'm Cynthia Lockery with Canada's podcast, where we talk to entrepreneurs who are making it happen right here in BC. Today, I'm joined by Benjamin Achachi, who comes from the south of France. Growing up, it came naturally for him to respect his environment and everything in it. His career path led him to Canada, where he was lucky to meet his partner, Aritzia, while looking for ways to improve our well-being. They discovered marine phytoplankton, and this resulted in Marifil marine phytoplankton, a line of products dedicated to phytoplankton. I may have messed up some of that pronunciation there, Benjamin, but welcome to Canada's podcast. Why don't we jump in by you telling us a bit about your current business and the work you do?
Thank you very much, Cynthia, for having me on the podcast. It's a pleasure to spend that time with you today. Happily discuss about the company. So yeah, as you mentioned, I came to Canada for university first many years ago now. That was 2005. And after uni, worked a bit in Montreal and came to Vancouver in 2015. That's when I met my wife, and we launched the company 2 years after that. In between, I got exposed to marine phytoplankton with her, and we pretty much the farm is managed by family members of hers, and then we got to know it and grew an immense interest in it, and we decided to pretty much create a brand and to promote those products and to be pretty much the exclusive partner of that farm in order to present and bring a marine phytoplankton product to the world. The marine phytoplankton is truly an amazing product that I'm sure we'll talk more here. But so we're very, very happy to bring that whole range of products to Canada and beyond.
And we can see behind you, for those of us who are watching this on YouTube, for our listeners, you are located on Vancouver Island, and so a beautiful setting.
Yes, exactly. We are about half an hour south of Nanaimo. What you see here is one of the tanks that we harvest the phytoplankton from. So as you can see, it's really by the sea. That is just a tiny bit behind, but it's just the perspective because the beach is right there. And the reason why the tanks are on shore because if we were growing phytoplankton into the sea, all the marine life will eating it, and therefore will not do much. And we'll walk through the process, but it's truly a natural process that is fantastic for the environment, and we make the most amazing product from it.
Excellent. So why don't you tell us? I'm curious how you decided to be an entrepreneur when there's so many other routes to go.
It came down to really. It sounds maybe cliche, but I always wanted as a kid to have their own business. But after, there is so many paths in, you start with school, university, and then you get a job, and it's still there in the back of your mind. And really, you can launch anything. But in my mind, I was like, I really wanted to launch something that was meaningful, not just for me, but also for the planet, and something that truly see that we could make a difference, and also obviously that we could make succeed. Because obviously, failure is part of the life of an entrepreneur. But ideally speaking, you want to limit the amount of failure you have still, right? Even if you do learn a lot from it, but it's still painful, right? Emotionally. So here, it took a bit of time, but yeah, when we first got exposed to marine phytoplankton, the idea really seeded right away in our head that it would be fantastic to work alongside phytoplankton. And the opportunity came for it, and we jumped right away at it, and we created a company and created the lines of product, and here we are, 7-8 years later, and hopefully going on for many more years.
So, is there a piece of knowledge or information about your industry, because it is unique, that may be of interest to our listeners?
Of course, the phytoplankton, what it is, it's really macroalgae that you want to know. and they grow exponentially. Really, it's the base of the food chain in the ocean. There is nothing below it. There will be no life without marine phytoplankton. It's been around for billions of years. Even on land right now, the air that you breathe, Cynthia, and the air that all our listeners are breathing right now, 75% of that air comes from marine phytoplankton. So it's really an essential part of life on Earth, and it's very important to preserve it and for people to be aware of it, so we can continue protecting it and making sure it stays there, and we take good care of it, because without it, we would not exist as a species, and obviously, our ocean will be completely dead without it.
With over 700 episodes and 500 news articles, we are your go-to source for all things entrepreneurship. CanadasPodcast.com. Subscribe now.
So what are you most proud of in terms of the work that you're doing?
Honestly, to have the full impact from beginning to end, to help the environment. We take a resource from the environment that the Mother Nature gives us, and we make it available to most, while making sure it's preserved. During our harvesting process, we pump ocean water into those tanks that you see behind me, and we let the phytoplankton reproduce or harvest, because it's a plant, right? So just reproduce naturally, just like any plant on land. And at the end of the process, when pretty much the tank is at capacity, we keep some of the harvest, but we send back a lot of it, more than what we take originally. So this way we make sure that we just borrow from Mother Nature and nothing else. And obviously, the harvesting process is completely natural. As you can see right now, it's sunny in the ocean on that photo, and it's sunny in our tanks. If it was snowing, it would be snowing in our tanks. There is no really control, like human control, on the environment that the phytoplankton grows. So it's really the same phytoplankton that the whales are feeding on is the phytoplankton that we harvest. And so for that, us to have that impact of zero impact, because on that tank, when it grows, it captures the same way as a plant, it captures CO2 and releases oxygen. So just from that production process, we are negative carbon, if you want to say. Mm-hmm. And on top of it, the product that we produce from it, obviously, all our bottles and stuff is all from recycled content. We strive to be on a more like biodegradable, but it's coming. This is not our area of expertise, but it's going to come, and then we'll be there as well. But where the product that we do and we promote, and our bestseller is the plant food, is to pretty much give high quality contents to the soil, which are very depleted nowadays. And even if you put any organic product in it, it's not necessarily good for the soil. And obviously, any chemical product is not even starting there, because it's extremely, extremely bad. So just to be able to have that full scope of from beginning to end, to have a beautiful product that takes care of the environment, that helps the people grow their own food or take care of their plant naturally and organically, is just a fantastic product and idea for us that we're trying to push to the maximum.
So you've had quite the journey as an entrepreneur. If somebody's listening today who's thinking, oh, I'm debating taking that leap to be an entrepreneur, is there any advice that you'd give them?
For sure, it's not easy, but really, if you're driven, go for it, because there is nothing more rewarding than having your own business. Of course, it comes with a huge amount of challenges, but if you're thinking of that idea, I don't think that's the first thing you want to hear, but at least to be aware of it. It is tough. There is ups and downs, and there is big ups and big downs. But if you trust in what you're doing, if you're passionate about it, it will be good at the end, and that's what matters. And I think that's the light that you have to keep seeing at the end, in order to push through and to continue, because it's not easy, but there is a lot of possibilities nowadays to have a successful business, and successful come from very, very different aspect. It's not just money. So, don't hesitate to go for it, push for it. Obviously, it takes a lot of work, but there's a lot of support nowadays as well. Thankfully, we are in the country that supports these entrepreneurs and in Provence that supports these entrepreneurs. So don't hesitate to reach for help as well, regardless of your background. And yeah, if you're passionate for it, go for it. It will succeed.
Yeah, I love that. There is a lot of support, especially post-COVID. There's even more support out there for those of you that are considering being an entrepreneur. You don't have to go it alone.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about BC. Your business is based on Vancouver Island. Mine's on Vancouver Island. So what are some of the benefits of being based in BC?
Well, number one, it is a beautiful province, right? I mean, all Canada is beautiful, but BC is a special place for sure. Just between the mix of ocean, mountain, wildlife, it has a special place for sure. I feel, my business has always been in BC, but so far it has been supportive. Obviously, there is always areas where you grow frustrated. As an entrepreneur, some information that is not fully accessible or not really for you only, but there is always something that you can find where people can help you, and that could be funding, that can be help with various entrepreneurs. So really, BC is a great province to be in. But if that would be just for me, it's just so beautiful. It is a beautiful province, and we are very, very happy to have our business here. And we will continue to have it there for the years ahead.
And so what are some of the challenges of being located on the West Coast?
For sure, it is the West Coast, and we are, because of those mountains between BC and Alberta, it feels like we are a bit alone in Canada. And the big population is out east, right, representing more than half of the population of Canada. So on our end, the challenges is, when shipping is very expensive, right? Nowadays, like exploded since COVID. It was already expensive before, but it's been even more now. So of course, when we ship a product, most of them goes to the East Coast because the warehouses are there. Of course, there's some warehousing in BC and in Alberta, but most of them are in Ontario, of course. And so shipping there takes its toll money-wise. So that's a big challenge for us. And we feel as well, yes, BC is very supportive, but, again, just because there is less amount of people, we feel like sometimes there is even more support out east. But, I guess, it's not all about oceans and mountains. There got to be some little drawbacks as well.
Stay ahead of the game with our expert tips and strategies that will help your business thrive in a digital era. CanadasPodcast.com. Subscribe now.
Yeah, it's definitely a trade-off. And I hear that a lot from entrepreneurs. I've spoken to entrepreneurs that 90% of their business is in Ontario and they're based in BC. And they said, even though it puts extra hurdles, they would never give that up.
And even me, it's even more there because from the island, just from the island to Vancouver, that's an extra challenge right there. That's cost a few $100s per pallet that goes. So it's not easy for sure. But thankfully, we have a unique product, and we feel like people are supporting us for that. So we make it work somehow.
So let's talk about success. How do you define success? But more importantly, how do you celebrate it?
For me, defining success can take very, very much various aspects. Obviously, there is the money aspect, right? As a business, it's you have to be profitable somehow to continue going. So that's one. But also, it's definitely not the only one. Markfield is a benefit company out of BC. So we changed that 2 years ago when we became a B Corp. And we're very proud of that. And that's something that's kind of unique to BC, where you still for profit, but as a benefit company, you have to take steps with your shareholders, which in our case is just me and my wife, Aranza. But you have to take steps in order to make sure that your decision, in fact, impact the benefit of the environment and the benefit of good in your community. So that's a big thing for us that we're very proud of and that defines success. Obviously, we give 1% of our sales as well to associations that protect the ocean. So that's a big success for us as well. And definitely after, as an entrepreneur, of course, you are going to have time where it's going to take a bit time away from your family, but at the same time, in some occasions, you have that freedom to be with family, and that for me has no price, right? It is the ultimate gift to be present. I have two daughters, one very very young, so that's the ultimate gift for me, that to be able to be there all the time with them if needs be.
Absolutely. As a parent, that is a big deal for me as well.
Yeah.
So on the other side, how do you deal with fear and doubt? Because like you said, you've got shipping, you've got different parts of Canada you're dealing with, and then there's just the general fear and doubt that can creep in. How do you manage that?
It's definitely not easy. You have to, like I said earlier, you're going to have ups and downs, and big ups and big downs. What's important is that you have to keep the focus on your initial idea and your business, what you strive to do and the change you want to do, and then continue and pushing through those hoops. It's not going to be easy. You're going to have moments where you're going to rethink everything. Even now there is stuff that we did at the beginning that we are fixing now, and you're like, why did I do this? Why did I spend that money here? It's pointless. But that's the perks, right, of being an entrepreneur, and that's the challenges that come with it. With everything that you decide at any stage in your business, you're going to rethink it down the line, and you're going to be like, why did I do this? I should have done this. And it doesn't mean that the decision that we took back then, if we would have, with the thinking that we have now, would have done something else. It doesn't mean that it would have been successful. It doesn't mean that it would have get you where we are right now. Maybe it would have been getting us to a better place, but maybe in a worse place as well. So I think it's important to learn where you come from and what you have gone through with your business, and push your ideas. Again, if you're passionate, push for it. It will work. There is work, and there is space for everyone. Every single idea comes from somewhere, and can be a success. So don't hesitate to bring those forward. There is always the support. There is always the need for it. So if you face challenges, if you're not sure, recenter, strategize with your team or with yourself or with the support that you're getting, and push to go back to your basics, and rethink where you want to go, and your idea is going to be there, and it's going to get you where you want to be.
Join our thriving community of like-minded individuals who share a passion for success and innovation. CanadasPodcast.com. Subscribe now.
Now, to do all of this, to juggle all these balls, you have to have a bit of self-care and that work-life balance. So what is it that you do to make sure you have that balance you need?
It's not easy. As a young father as well, father of young child, it's not easy to find time. When I have time away from the business, I have to dedicate to my family, of course. But where I love, and with my family, we love to spend time in nature whenever we can, to discover and learn about more culture. That can be at home or abroad. And Canada is very multicultural. There is a ton of things to learn from everyone. But also, traveling, spending time in nature, just pretty much offsetting a bit. Sometimes you need, right? So don't hesitate to take that break when you need it, to resource yourself and get your focus again and your momentum. But so for me, it's that spending time in nature, bit of sport. I play tennis. I ski whenever we can. Not so great this year, but otherwise, that's what. So really simple. Do a bit of exercise, eat well, eat healthy, and discover culture. Think, shut down your mind. Think of something else. Read a book. Anything is good. It's good for your mental health.
And it's years ago, somebody said to me, the number one way you can grow your business or grow your career is to hit pause. and to give that space. So have that go can actually harm you. And we're blessed that we are surrounded by nature.
Exactly. That is very, very true. You can very quickly get caught up in the day to day and always wanting to answer emails and answer chat and answer clients and businesses. But sometimes 24 hours is not gonna stop. Even a couple of hours, or even and if you need to take sometimes a bit more, take the time you need. Everything is gonna be there when you come back. If everything falls around because you shut down for a few hours, then there is something wrong, right? Something should be able to maintain. You should strive for that, and yeah.
Excellent. So as we wrap up today, is there any advice you've been given, any book you've read, any nugget of information that resonates with you that you want to share with our listeners?
We see it around the world. So really take care of yourself, your family, your friends, and that goes as well for your business. Don't hesitate to hit pause and follow your passion, follow your strength. It will be there. For me, the big thing is I love the environment. So for me, it was to find something linked to that. That was a big thing for me. So reading books on the environment, being aware of where things come from, where things are made, where our food comes from. That was a big thing for me. So don't be afraid to be inquisitive about things. Look for it. Do your research. Learn. Don't stop learning. You can learn at any age, and then push through after.
I love that. Don't stop learning. I think that's what makes entrepreneurs that are successful rise above, is by realizing we don't know it all. It's all just a journey, and we continue to learn.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you for joining us today. And I'm definitely, next time I'm up near Nanaimo, going to check you out. And it's just, and so when people that are listening, how do they find you? What's the best way to find your company?
So we have our own website where we ship pretty much across the globe. And then, we're also extremely popular on Amazon. We have the number one product in garden fertilizers, for example, on Amazon Canada. And also, if you guys are listening from abroad, we're also in Amazon USA, all over Europe, UK, and Australia since a few months. So really, it's very easy to find us. And we are also distributed by West Coast Seeds, very local company as well. That I'm sure you guys are aware of. You've seen their little packs of seeds. And so they are distributing us as well in many, many stores across the province, obviously, but also the country. So any store that you see those packs, you can also ask the product. It could be there. Otherwise, you can order it.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Cynthia. Have a wonderful day.
You too.